George and Adam.
Very accomplished performance tonight, and there were so many highlights during the fight. You had him reeling at the end of the 6th, and then the knockdown at the end of the 12th. When you've been in with a boxer of this calibre, you must be delighted the way you performed tonight.
Yeah, I am. Glen Johnson is without doubt the toughest opponent I've ever faced. I've never ever hit someone so hard, so often, so clean, and then just keep coming. And I learnt a lot tonight from that fight. I've got so many positives to take from that fight. I made a few mistakes, but I think I showed composure, class, to correct those mistakes and to totally change a fight. So yeah, I'm really, really happy.
George, was it disheartening at any stage to throw some of the punches you were throwing? I mean, clearly powerful punches, and for Johnson to, shrug them off.
You know, I'm not disheartening, but I held my hands up. I shot my bolt a few times. I emptied the tank when I didn't need to. I was landing flush shots, and he looked like he was gone, completely gone. And part of me thinks he was, but he survived. And I think the bell saved him on 1 or 2 occasions. And then, it was about recovering, getting back to my boxing, and then wait and then pick the openings. And if I do catch him again, put it on him. But there was a few times, even in the first round, where I thought this is over. And credit to Johnson, he just kept back and kept on it.
Were you pleased? You say you made a few mistakes tonight, but were you pleased at how focused you did stay, because you clearly were? And what did he say to you afterwards?
He didn't say much. He said, "Good fight." I just see his team outside, and they gave me high praise, and they said that they were very, very impressed, and I've got a bright future. And I got full credit to Glen Johnson. He is a genuine world-class fighter. He always wasn't far off coming back into the fight. I think, if I made a mistake, he was there or thereabouts. He had a second wind, a third wind, a fourth wind, and there was times where I was absolutely nailing him. And I think pretty much 95% of the other super middleweight fighters in the world would have gone, but he stood there strong, and sort of blinked an eye, spat a bit, and then came back forward again. So it's a learning fight for me.
Did you expect to win so convincingly?
Yeah, I did, and I genuinely thought I would stop him. I didn't underestimate how good his chin was, but yeah, man, that guy can take a punch. He was tough. It was tough to break down. Obviously, he's got a very tight guard. You had to be punch specific. You had to be very clever with my punches. I couldn't just rain in punches because he was covering pretty much all the sort of wild shots. Tucks up well. Couldn't really unload to the body properly. Erratically, catch his elbow or something. So I had to pick those shots correctly. But I think I'm really happy with my performance.
Frank Carlfroch and Glen Johnson 18 months ago went to a majority
split decision. Yeah.
How does that? What's your view on George's performance?
I thought George really boxed well tonight, and I thought the first couple of rounds, and Adam and I sort of had a sort of brief chat in the ring afterwards. I thought that the first couple of rounds, when George was unloading with everything, and you're sitting there, you're thinking, don't want him running out of gas. This guy is tough. He does, and the first round he just sort of done. He was typical Glen Johnson, just sucked it, took it all, and then the next round came out. And I thought, he's going to have to be top of his game with him. He is teak tough. He is what they call him, the road warrior. Tough. He's a hard fighter to beat. Sorry to say to beat. He's a hard fighter to keep on top of all the time, because he's always dangerous. George chipped a couple of right hands in the fight. He caught him a couple of times, so he's always there. You have to be 100% focused. And from my perspective, watching George fight, was that he did maintain his focus. A couple of times it slipped, but most of the time he was there on it. And he's got 12 really good rounds under his belt with a world-class fighter, who, as you just said, give Carlfroch a lot of problems. And you've got to take into consideration, this year George has only had 2 fights. He's had a couple of bits of bad luck. He had the world title fight, he had to pull out of that. Got that sustain that cut in America, which was an excellent performance he had in America. So, all in all, he's ended the year on a high note and hopefully set himself up for 2013. And I think it'd be a lucky 13 for him. I really do. I do think George will go on and win a world title. I really do.
Adam, how important was George's movement throughout that fight?
Yeah, his movement was everything, just maintaining the distance that he wanted to be at. And it was probably the most impressive thing about tonight is that he set off on the wrong track right from the start by loading up. And it was probably my worst nightmare coming back to revisit me. And it's so difficult, having done that, to get back to a totally different type of flow. And there were times when he did it beautifully. He had Glen not knowing which way he was going to appear from. And he showed tonight what he's going to end up being as a fighter.